Just when you thought your day really sucked.
You suck!
Here comes something to make it suck even more. It's a Lamont and Tonelli podcast.
Lamont and Tonelli show. And Sully, I believe that we have Norm MacDonald on the line, good friend of the show. Norm, is that Norm?
You're going to have Norm in one moment. One sec.
And who is this?
This is Stephanie. I'm just connecting with
Hey,
Norm.
Stephanie.
Oh, okay. Stephanie.
Hello, one sec.
Stephanie, who is Norm's assistant. Norm can't dial the phone now, or
The
what?
famous Stephanie.
That is when you know you've hit the big time.
Yeah.
When you have someone dial up your phone calls.
Yes.
Stephanie's dialing for Norm. How do you like that?
He's going to be at the Uptown Theater in Napa next Friday night.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I love Norm MacDonald.
So, next Friday night he'll be at the Uptown Theater. We'll get all the details from Norm.
Hey, guys, you have Norm MacDonald.
Once
All
Stephanie
right.
gets finished getting him on the phone.
Exactly.
Is she holding the phone up to his ear? That's what I want to know.
Norm, I will say, Norm, are you there yet?
Yeah, hello?
That is when you know you've hit the big time, when you have someone dial the phone for you and hold the phone to your ear.
That's not what happened. That is a mischaracterization.
Is that what that is?
I think so. I heard that word once.
Hey, Norm, you know what? We were talking about you because you've been on the show for quite some time. You're a good friend of the show.
I'm a friend of the show, as they say.
Exactly.
I'm best friend of the show.
I mean, the best friend of the show. But there's something about you that we did not realize. We were reading Wikipedia, and we had no idea that your mother and your father were both of them were your teacher on an Air Force base.
Yeah, yes, an Army base. Yeah. They were both my teachers. My father was my teacher once, and my mother was my teacher twice.
On an Army base?
Yeah, where was this Army base? What Army?
It was, what does it mean?
No, what Army base?
Man, what happened to you? Where'd you go?
No, we're here. What Army base were you at where they were teaching?
I was at Base Valcartier, Quebec. The city.
Oh.
Was that the Canadian Army?
Hold it.
Yeah.
Canada has an army?
Yeah, man, I think we got two boats.
You know, Norm, that's what I tell these guys all the time. There's one boat on each coast.
That's right.
So what was that like having your dad as a teacher?
Man, that was tough because he decided to be tougher on me than anybody else to not have any conflict of interest or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And so he'd always make an example of me and stuff. And then I had to call him Mr. MacDonald, which was bizarre. But he was the guy in school he was the teacher that everybody didn't. He was the tough, the disciplinarian.
Yeah.
Everybody else thought he was the toughest guy. But he was a good man, my dad, man.
Yeah.
He taught. He didn't even have any education himself.
He was a teacher.
But something about because when he had me, he was 50. He was old.
Yeah.
So he was in the Second World War,
Uh-huh.
And so then when he got out or something, they said, we need teachers. He didn't even get it through grade 9 or something.
So he was a teacher.
But the good thing is he was teaching grade 5 and 6. So I guess all you really need is a ninth. If you have a 9th grade education, you're actually overqualified.
Yes.
Hey, there's and I didn't realize because whenever you're in here, we always ask you to do Turd Ferguson, which is the Burt Reynolds impersonation. I had no idea that you did as many impersonations as are listed here. For instance, I had no idea you did Bob Uecker.
Yeah.
How do you do a Bob Uecker impersonation?
Well, Bob, it's actually an impersonation of the actual Bob Uecker, not the Bob Uecker on radio, because I know Bob Uecker.
Uh-huh.
And he was a good friend of mine until I did an impersonation of him once on Letterman.
Really?
And then what happened?
And then communication stopped. just because he I can't really explain it, but you can YouTube it. You can see my Bob Uecker on Letterman, and you'll see why Bob Uecker doesn't want to be my friend anymore.
Hey,
how about Andy Rooney? Because I see Andy Rooney listed here as
Yeah,
well.
I did Andy Rooney. Well, I did Andy Rooney because people were doing Andy Rooney, and then I read in an interview once, because they'd always go, when they did their impression, they go, "Did you ever notice?" You know.
Yeah.
And then I read a thing, and Andy Rooney said he never said, "Did you ever notice?" ever. You know.
Uh-huh.
So I thought, oh, maybe there's another way to do the impression. Then I watched a few minutes with Andy Rooney, and the thing I realized about it is that he used way too many examples.
Uh-huh.
You know, like he'd go like, when I buy, this is not going to sound like him, but
good impersonation.
He'd go like, when I buy pills in the store, you know, and I get them home, it's mostly cotton, and then he'd go like, here I bought something called Prilosec. I look inside, it's mostly cotton, a few pills at the bottom. And then I bought this antipsychotic medication. And again, mostly cotton, not pill. You do like 9 of them. You go, okay, I get the point.
So Andy Rooney's not hanging around with you now either, huh?
Yeah, Andy Rooney broke off relations with me also.
Hey, did you get invited to do the Charlie Sheen roast?
Do what?
Charlie Sheen, the roast on Charlie. They're going to do a roast of Charlie Sheen next month. Were you invited to that at all? Because you've done the roast thing but in the past, haven't you?
I did one time. I did a roast.
And they never invited you back to that one either.
Nah, I'll never be doing that again.
That was the end
all
of that
communication
one.
just stopped.
I notice a theme developing here. After you do something, all communication stops.
Yeah, I show up. Everybody likes me. They go, everything's going to go good. I go, I don't know about that. The funny thing is, like, right after, they're like, hey, everything was good, because it's hard to say it to the person to their face. So then they go, everything's good, and then they change their phone number.
All right. Hey, you're playing at the Uptown Theater in Napa.
Yeah, that's next Friday night, I believe.
Yeah. And tickets are available, I guess, at the UptownTheaterNapa.com. We'll have the link on our webpage. Norm, always a treat talking to you.
It's fun, man. I can't wait to get back in the studio with you guys.
Hey, and Sully?
Yes.
Disconnect the phone number. Okay. We'll talk to you later, Norm.
Okay, man. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. He's a good guy. You know what? I just get a kick out of him every time I talk to him. Yeah.
Another fine product from Uranus.
That concludes the Lamont and Tonelli podcast. To hear more and everything Lamont and Tonelli, check out the website at lntworld.com.